How did you use media technologies in the construction, research, planning and evaluation? When I started my A2 project, my first task was to construct a website. This was so that I could make sure all my work was regularly available online, and I would also be able to keep track of my progress as I continued through the brief. The website making site that I chose to use was originally Wix, as this was the software that I had used for my AS coursework. However, I soon decided to switch over to Weebly.com, as I felt that I would be able to create a much more professional style to the website. Weebly is a web hosting service featuring a drag-and-drop website builder. Since August 2012, Weebly has hosted over 20 million sites with a monthly rate of over 1 million visitors. From these statistics, it was clear to me that Weebly would be very effective in creating a professional and slick-looking blog where I will be able to display all of my A2 work in a much more effective way compared to Wix. During the creation of my coursework, I used many different methods of media technologies, and in this presentation, I will break each technology down. To do this, I will split the different aspects of my coursework into 3 sections: research and planning, creation, and evaluation. The first section that I will discuss is the methods that I discussed during the research task of my coursework. This process at the beginning of my coursework aimed to help me create a goal to achieve and make sure that we stuck to the plan along the way. This process mainly involved me researching all aspects of making trailers for the psychological thriller genre in order to inspire me in the creation of my own main product and ancillary products. In the very first stages of my research, I watched many past A2 pieces of work on YouTube that other students have uploaded. This first stage helped me to get a broad idea of the kind of work that I would need to create. I also watched further trailers that had been created for several different genres to broaden my horizons even further. After watching other students' trailers, I then went on to watch professional trailers made by proven production companies and again got an idea of what my trailer should look like. This was when I also started to make notes on the codes and conventions of the psychological thriller genre, making a PowerPoint presentation compiling all of the information together. In the creation of this PowerPoint presentation, I also researched further into the specific codes and conventions of the psychological thriller genre, and other genres such as horror and thriller that I felt related to my genre and initial ideas. I also followed other websites during this process. For example, the School Media Studies website greatly helped me to learn more about my coursework and the formatting of my website whilst I created it. Before beginning the planning process of filming my own psychological thriller trailer, I also decided to create a survey on a website called SurveyMonkey so that I could gather more feedback from a varied audience about aspects of a trailer that they feel are important. I used similar media technologies to gather together all my work, using Pages to write up all my notes and ideas about costumes, locations, props, and filming days. In order to plan the actual days of filming further, I also created a shot list on Keynote, which is an application on my MacBook Pro that I used to carry out the entirety of my coursework. During the creation of my trailer, I used all media technologies that were available to me to ensure that my products were created to the best of my ability. To film my trailer, I decided to use my Apple iPhone 8 camera, as I felt that the quality was of a good standard and I knew of ways in which I could make the quality look more professional, for example, uploading all the footage onto my MacBook Pro at the highest quality possible. I also used a tripod to film the majority of my shots, as this ensured that none of the shots would be shaky, and I would be able to avoid having to refilm shots later on. Using a tripod was a very successful method, as I avoided filming shots that would have been shaky many times. Another device that I used during the filming process to assist me was silver and white light reflectors. This helped me to ensure that the lighting was how I wanted and how I could control it to an extent when there was darkness in shots that needed to be lighter or vice versa. I mainly relied on natural light whilst filming and then was able to change specific areas that were highlighted, the exposure, saturation, and to use filters on specific shots. The use of filters on specific shots was particularly helpful in the editing of my trailer, as I could easily make certain shots look older or newer, which would later make it clearer to the audience which moments were flashbacks and which were modern day. Once I had filmed all of my footage, I uploaded all of my clips onto the latest version of iMovie on my MacBook Pro, although not as sophisticated as other editing softwares that I would have liked to use. I felt that there was still a varied range of editing devices that I could use in this software whilst editing my trailer. Adobe Photoshop was the software that I chose to use to produce both of my ancillary tasks. To create my ancillary tasks, I needed to take photographs of the 3 main actors in my trailer. To take these photographs, I decided to use my Nikon camera, with natural lighting and the aid of the reflectors that I had used during the filming of my trailer. Using these devices helped me to get the photograph that I wanted with the right exposure to light. With a high quality image, I was then able to manipulate it more in Photoshop without the photograph losing quality and becoming grainy. If the image had been grainy originally, cropping it and adding effects would have been difficult, compared to a high quality image, where I was able to highlight areas and use Magic Wand tools with blend selectors much easier, as well as high quality images with artificial lights for the images of the main actors. I also decided to use selected stills from my trailer to highlight moments of action on the magazine front cover. In order to ensure that the main image was of a high quality, I decided to use two of the same photograph and overlay them, as one photograph was darker than the other, and I wanted the main character to be highlighted. To create this, I used the Magic Wand tool to remove the background of the brighter image, making sure that it was on a blurred edge setting, so that the two photographs would blend together easily to create a professional effect to the final magazine front cover. Once I had completed the first draft of my magazine front cover and poster, I screenshotted these images and went on to create a much more advanced version of these two products. After I had completed both of these versions, I used technology to my advantage and posted the products side by side onto my social media platform in order to gain feedback from many people about what they thought about each version. Using social media was a very helpful element in gaining feedback. The method that I used to gather feedback was by the whole of sixth form watching my trailer and providing feedback through a survey afterwards. I then picked 6 people and interviewed them on the professional school camera to use in evaluation question 3. Using a different camera provided me with the experience of using 3 different technologies for recording interviews, filming trailers, and photo shoots, and I was able to learn a great deal about cameras and the technology behind them. When I had completed my trailer, I uploaded it to YouTube. I chose to use this media technology as there are many devices on the website that allow people to engage with my products, as the like rating allows me to easily see what people think of the finished trailer, along with the easy to use comments section where people were able to leave more detailed feedback, to which I'd be able to reply. However, overall, I felt as if the choice to use YouTube as my upload medium was a good choice as it had all devices that I could possibly need when uploading my trailer for the world to see. When writing my evaluation questions, I first wrote up the entire essay on Pages on my MacBook Pro, as this was the software that I had used to create all of my written work, as I had files on my laptop that organised every element of my coursework into separate sections. I then uploaded all of my work onto my Weebly website that I used to present all of my work over the course of the year. I also created edited videos of each of my evaluation questions, using photographic examples of everything that I talked about. I wanted to create some videos for my evaluation questions, as I felt that this would be an engaging and interesting way of presenting all of my work, considering I had already used PowerPoint presentations previously, and so wanted to try a new method of presenting of my work. In conclusion, I think that I was very successful in using media technologies to enhance every aspect of my coursework, whether through equipment for filming, editing softwares, and a multitude of websites.